So after 2 weeks of waiting, we have finally gotten a new chapter of One Piece, and there's a lot to discuss. Now, sadly, very sadly, the MVP is not here in this chapter, and there will be a break next week. But there's too much to discuss, and let me tell you, there is definitely a Big Mom video coming out, so stay tuned for that. But let's just get into this chapter and everything that goes on, starting with the fact that Kaido and Luffy did the Roger and Whitebeard thing, like the clash, the haki, the not touching in the middle of the air. It was there in this chapter, and we loved it. Although that's really, all that we got, except for the fact that they are both excited for this fight. But we got it. I am happy. I'm good. That's it. We could have ended the chapter there, and I'm sure everyone would be happy. But you know what? Oda decided to just sprinkle too much more. Like, he just too much more in this chapter. So let's go into all of that goes on. And the first thing is, Hera. Because I'm looking at this chapter, look throughout, and I'm not seeing Hera, right? Because a lot of people talked about Big Mom potentially making a new replacement for Zeus, and I'm not seeing that. I'm really not seeing that, okay? Now we get a partial image of Hera in one panel, or rather in two panels, and she uses Hera and she uses the attack Fulgora, and that's it. Like, after that, later on in the chapter we see nothing. There's not even a partially illustrated cloud being obscured by something in the panel. There's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. So I don't think, for now, I'm going to hold off and say I don't think she made a replacement for Zeus. I think some people jump to that, but I don't think so just yet. Also, because it doesn't make sense that that's a favor Prometheus wants. I think favors Prometheus wants would be to eat something, for Big Mom to upgrade him to something else, or I don't know, something regarding himself and not really anyone else as a favor. Because then if it's just to kick Zeus out, then he'd just say, Mama, leave Zeus alone, let's just forget him, right? He wouldn't say ask for a favor. So I'm still hesitant to think that it's a replacement. It seems that Hera was just made for this attack. Like, she got the lightning, she imbued it with, part of her soul to make a homie, and she used that as an attack, and that's what we see. If I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong, so we'll just see how it unfolds. And yeah, I guess that's it. But this attack is so strong that we see Black Lightning. Now, I know there's been so much talk since we've started seeing Black Lightning and what it means every time we see it. But like I said to a friend of mine in discussion, that I think the Black Lightning is just a sign of a very big clash. If Oda decides to make it uniquely for Conquerors in the future, that's in the future. That's not now. Now it's just a really big clash, so it's not necessarily Conquerors, but Big Mom's attack literally has Black Lightning coming off. It means that's a very strong attack, and Kid and Killer, they get up from that relatively fine, which for me speaks volumes, right? Because first it was a punch, which is not that great to come back from. It's not that incredible, but an attack like this and they're relatively fine. So I'm just saying that's crazy. And for me, it means I look at this in two ways, right? One, based off the fact that Kid and Killer do not have this advanced armament that both Luffy and Zoro have, the fact that they're able to tank this attack means that if they did get that haki, they just, they'd grow really a lot. Like, I don't even know how much. They just grow a lot. But at the same time, it means that they're not at any particular disadvantage apart from the technique for injuring Kaido. They just don't have that technique. But strength-wise overall, they're not at any particular disadvantage compared to Luffy and Zoro, except for Conquerors, because that's really new. So yeah, it doesn't seem like they're any disadvantage. But that's just this. Anyway, we go on and we see the man I have been looking for the longest time. For the past 2 weeks, so whenever I see a video, live stream, whatever, and someone's like, oh, what are we going to see next chapter? I always mention, where is Hawkins? We have not seen this man since Drake changed sides. And finally we get him. Now, another thing about Hawkins is that, it dawned on me that Hawkins is probably awakened, right? I mean, look at the fact that the sword he uses is a regular sword. But the fact that he maneuvers it in such a way, he even changes it to straw, that, for me, sounds awakened. So, I mean, it makes sense that there is at least one supernova who has awakened their devil fruit. But, tell me what you think. Do you guys think he's awakened? Do you guys think he's not? But anyway, he shows up and he starts saying something interesting, right? Of course, the whole kid doesn't really hold that much of a grudge against Hawkins. Hawkins didn't directly betray him. He just kind of, preserved himself and kind of threw these guys under the bus, but not really betrayed in the same way that Apu did, right? And didn't hurt them in the same way that Kaido did. It's a bit different there. But anyway, Hawkins goes on to tell Killer that he has a 92% chance of dying. Now, is Killer gonna die? Maybe. I think there's two ways this can go, and I'm only 30% on the side that Killer might die. Because before I was like, there's no way Killer's dying, but Hawkins just said this, and that's a pretty high percentage, so maybe. On the other hand, I think that there's a chance that we're going to go into a whole Hawkins arc, right? Character arc. Because Killer's retort is that, look, it's kind of like we shape our own fate. To paraphrase what he says that, we don't care about, your fortunes. We take matters into our own hands. We don't need no luck. We don't wish for anything. We do it ourselves. And that's kind of, a retort to the way Hawkins operates. And maybe, if Killer survives this, that may be a kind of wake up call, something might click in Hawkins' head that, look, yeah, the tarot cards may say this, but it's not 100%. So there's always, an opportunity to try instead of just go for whatever is above 50%. So I think that Hawkins might actually, we might start a Hawkins arc. I'm 70% on that side, 30% Killer might actually die. So, and I feel like you can't have both, because if Killer dies, then the arc is kind of negated in the fact that, I was right the whole time. So I think we're going to get the Hawkins more than Killer actually dying. But anyway, this brings me to another point in this arc that seems very common as a difference between pirates and the citizens of Wano. I don't want to say samurai because I don't count Tama as a samurai, but the citizens of Wano, in that in this chapter, Tama talks about dying. She says that, we just need to get to the life flow. I turn them to our side. I don't care what happens to me after that. I can die. It's okay. And Usopp and Nami say that's not okay, right? Don't be silly. Like, we'll protect you. We'll save you. Even though I know we sounded scared and incompetent before, but no, we'll step up, right? And we'll make sure you get through this alive. And for me, it's like, it seems like a very recurring theme that all those citizens of Wano are just so ready to die. Even Orochi is ready to die. All of these guys are looking for death, and even though, like, it's not like they just want to die. They want to achieve success, but they're ready to die for it. Whereas the pirates want to achieve success, but none of them are ready. I wouldn't say ready to die. None of them are actually looking to die, right? Just last chapter, Law told Zoro that, look, it's not worth it if one of us dies. So, we'll succeed and we will live through it. Right? I think that is more of the mentality of the pirates, and I feel like this is going to play a role at some point, because you've had so many moments with the Scabbards, the Hyogoro, and everyone on the life floor, Tama, and all of these guys looking to die and succeed, even if it costs them their lives. Whereas the pirates are like, no, we're not succeeding at the cost of our lives. We're succeeding and staying alive. We're doing both. And I feel like this will probably, culminate at some point in this arc, but I'm not sure when. It's just something I noticed, which I thought was very interesting. But skipping that and getting to the Big Mom part, which again, I said we will make a video about this, but for now, let's just talk about what actually happens. And I think based off of what happens, I'm actually beginning to like Big Mom more and more. I don't know how it's possible, but I am. I may be the crazy one here. Tell me what you think, but I'm actually beginning to like Big Mom more and more, because Big Mom comes, she's angry at the Straw Hats, but she sees Tama and she goes into what Prometheus calls mothering mode, because, Tama is a small kid and Big Mom can't help be a mother after having 85 kids. So what happens, and actually Tama is as young as Anana, which is Big Mom's youngest daughter. They're the same age, so fun fact. Anyway, she kind of sees Tama, and the conversation which goes on is very interesting, because I've seen, was it Bensei who mentions that, the whole amnesia thing is going to come in. I don't know about the amnesia plotline, but the OO Lin plotline is coming back. And I think that's interesting because instead of her actually losing her memory, she actually remembers who she was, what she did, who she interacted with, which would be interesting to then see her relationship with Chopper. Is she more angry, or is she actually happy with Chopper? Because he's a Straw Hat, but he helped her, but then he's not under 10, so how does it work there? But she kind of hears, from Tama what happened to Okobore Town, the fact that, these guys, their town was destroyed because they wouldn't give these guys up, and that they ate the food, even though, they really didn't. And, now they suffered, and Big Mom cannot stand this, I think Big Mom is so angry, even when page 1 comes, she knocks this guy out. And with what I'm pretty sure is Conqueror's Haki, you can even see, there's a bubble that it seems that, page 1, between her arm and page 1, there's like an actual impact bubble that makes it seem like she didn't get touched. But it's very interesting because now I want to see what obviously Ulti will do. I want to see what Kid will do, and I want to see what Zeus will do. Because with Ulti, we know that she cares about page 1, but between being a beast pirate and respecting Kaido, but also being with page 1, which one does she value more? If it's Kaido, then of course she won't get mad and won't go out of line because of, what, page 1 getting punched. But if it's page 1, then we may see something interesting, right? Which brings me to Kid, because Kid, now that Big Mom is actually beating up beast pirates, does Kid then try to still beat up Big Mom? Isn't that counterintuitive to the point? So what happens with Kid? What will he decide to do? And the whole point is that, this may be something that brings Kid together with Ulti and page 1. Now, my guy, one of my friends, Brubble, he also talked about the fact that, you potentially could have Ulti and page 1 join Kid's crew. And this seems like the best meetup that we could get for them. Now, of course, I don't know how that will go down. That's mere speculation, but it does seem interesting nonetheless. Then we have the issue with Zeus, because now Zeus is, Law brought Zeus in along with himself and Zoro, and Zeus is coming here. So what happens now that Big Mom's kind of with the Straw Hats, right? Does that mean that Nami will steal Zeus? Does that mean that Nami may be given Zeus? If Big Mom creates another homie and Hera's real, does that mean that, Nami could potentially get her own, Zeus? Not this Zeus made from Big Mom's soul, but maybe a cloud made from, Nami's own soul. So she can take that wherever she wants and it's hers. It's hers for good. But it's very interesting. I want to see how that plays out, especially because it seems like Big Mom's on the alliance side for now, only for this reasoning. But I just want to see how that goes. And I want to see how Kaido takes this, right? If this is reported to Kaido, because, it probably won't be for a while because Kaido's really enjoying his fight, but if this is reported to Kaido, how does Kaido take this, right? This whole Big Mom flip-flop feels a lot like Boa at Marineford attacking both enemies. Like, everyone's kind of her enemy. Almost everyone is her enemy, except for Tama. Everyone is Big Mom's enemy here. So I don't know how Kaido will take this. Kaido might drop her off because, he can't trust her because of how much she's just, attacking everyone. And at the same time, he may just leave her and be like, that's how Big Mom's always been. Right? But coming back to this whole issue with Big Mom actually changing sides, we have this thing where Big Mom actually says that some things are unacceptable. Like, there are standards in the one, like in this, you have to have standards even though we're pirates, which is interesting because this is a callback to a conversation that she had with Vin Smoke Judge. Because Judge is like, look, even in the pirate wing world, you have trust. I don't know if he used the same words, but you have to have trust. It's built on rules and respect. And the Big Mom pirates sit there with Big Mom and they laugh in his face and he cries, and we know how that went in Whole Cake Island. But it almost sounds very hypocritical that she says this, but thinking about it slightly deeper, you realize that what she's talking about here is slightly different to what Judge was talking about. Because I don't think they're laughing at Judge. They laughed at Judge because he had standards. I don't think that's what they were laughing at. I think it's because Judge was too trusting. I think that's what they laughed at, because having standards that Big Mom talks about here is very important to her, as we can see from this chapter. And I think what's really important to Big Mom, based on everything we know about her, is hospitality. right? Big Mom is someone who wants to unite every race together, right? Hospitality there. Big Mom is someone who likes to have tea parties and weddings. Big Mom is all about treating people well, and treating people who treat her well as well, if you get what I'm saying. So to hear that, people who treated her well were then, their town was destroyed and burned and they were punished, that is unacceptable to Big Mom. If someone shows hospitality, they do not deserve to be treated in such a way. And so she is livid at, Kaido's underlings, and she's not having any of this. But I do think it's a very interesting point, because this whole thing of Big Mom even attacking these guys, I think for me solidifies the whole idea that Big Mom is more of an antagonist than she is a villain. And yeah, like I said, we'll probably get into it in a video later on. But guys, these are my thoughts. Like, tell me, how do you feel about this chapter? Everything, the way it goes, the way it flows, all the actions, where you think the characters will go. Let me know all that down in the comment section. And as always, guys, please like the video if you like the video, subscribe for more content. If you know someone needs to hear the truth, please share this video with them. If you have time, watch one of my other videos, and if not, guys, see you in the next video.